Hey everyone, congratulations on finishing week 2 of your Faster Way experience. I'm super proud of each and every one of you. So excited for the progress that you're already making just 2 weeks in. I want to applaud you because I know how intense these first 2 weeks feels. I appreciate you all showing up every day in our group and engaging and asking great questions, reading my posts, watching the videos, posting your macros, trying out the workouts, drinking the water, all the things, because for those of you that are doing that, I guarantee you, A, your results are going to be better, and B, I think your experience will be better as well because you're doing all the things that are laid out for you. So really great job showing up every single day. I know that it felt really intense the first 2 weeks. I know that firsthand because I was a client just like y'all. 2 years ago, I went through my new client round with my coach, and even though I have a health and nutrition degree, many of these strategies that we implement were brand new for me as well. So I really had to dive deep. I really had to challenge myself to learn and establish new healthy habits just like you all. So while we are not perfect at all of these strategies, I guarantee you in week number 3, it's gonna start to feel a lot more natural. In fact, in week 3, I think it's my favorite week of our 6-week group because everyone just kind of starts to settle in, they take a deep breath, and they really start to feel more comfortable with what we're doing and all the strategies that we're implementing. So great job. Week number 3 and number 4, I think you're really going to enjoy. As I said, we've already learned the basic foundation of the Faster Way. We're just going to continue to build upon what we've already learned. So if you've missed any of our trainings or any of my videos, it's really important today that you go back and get caught up on that because we will be building upon that foundation over the next couple of weeks. In week number 3, specifically, just to give you an overview, we're going to dive into the idea of building macro-dense meals. What I mean by that is many of you have shared that it can be hard for you to hit your macros in an 8-hour period of time. And, this is a whole new way of thinking. So what I'm going to do is share lots of tips and tricks with you on ways that you can build more nutrition into the meals that you're already eating. I don't want you necessarily back in your kitchen making another meal or making another snack, but maybe we can think outside of the box and get creative with what we're already eating and build more macros into that. So we're going to focus on that this week. We're also going to be talking about alcohol. We're going to learn about how alcohol is metabolized in our body and specifically the effects that it has on fat burning. So stay tuned. A lot of people are pretty shocked to learn about all of those things. In week number 4, we're going to push nutrition aside a little bit and we're going to talk about some other really important factors that affect our fat burning, such as adrenal fatigue, the importance of sleep, the importance of hormones. So we're going to dive into that a little bit in week number 4. Week number 5 and 6, we'll tackle that later, but I just wanted to give you kind of the highlight of what's to come. But for today, I just want to go over some more reminders with you. I want to share some great tips and tricks that will help you and share some things that have worked well for me. So first of all, I want to talk about intermittent fasting. We talked on day number 1 about establishing our 16-8 window of fasting and eating. Yes, we want to aim for a 16-8 protocol, pretty much every day, but life is life. It's crazy. Life will not always fit into a 16-hour and an 8-hour box. I get that. So let's say, for example, that your eating window is 10 to 6, but you don't get home till 7:30 one night. You had a late night at the office. Your kid had a sporting event. No problem at all. So this is how I want you to handle that. I don't ever want you to skip a meal because of your eating window. I want you to do the opposite of that. I never want you to miss a meal to keep it in an 8-hour window. Go ahead and extend your 8-hour eating window and get that dinner in. No big deal at all. It's not going to hurt your progress in any way. So the next day you can go ahead and just break your fast at the time you normally would, or you can break it a little bit later and shorten the eating window on the next day. But again, I want to make sure that you're hitting your macros. So if you cut your fast on occasion and increase your eating window on occasion, that is absolutely fine. This is meant to be a sustainable lifestyle. Life is not always perfect. So please extend yourself grace on those days and don't stress about it. What if you feel super hungry in the morning? We're going to have days that we feel a lot hungrier. Some days, maybe we don't feel as hungry, especially for women, depending upon our cycle. For the month, that can have an impact as well. But if you wake up and your stomach is growling and you're hungry or you're lightheaded and it's not time to break your fast, please go ahead and break your fast. Listen to your body. Again, you will not derail your progress if you break your fast a little bit earlier than normal. I will sometimes break my fast 14 or 15 hours into my 16-hour fast if I'm super hungry. I know that I'll just feel better throughout the day if I go ahead and eat a well-balanced meal. So again, extend yourself some grace and listen to your body. If you're having a hard time hitting your macros, that's okay. A general rule of thumb is eat until you're 80% satisfied, even if you haven't hit your macros. Most of my clients that struggle with this, I will say usually around week 3 or 4, their body starts to kind of become more accustomed to what we're doing, and your body almost appreciates all the wonderful nourishment that you're giving it, and it will start to crave more of the healthy food. So I'm not super concerned about you under eating at this point. Most clients find they do feel hungrier as the program goes on, especially if they're doing the Faster Way workouts. If you're doing the HIIT workouts, and most importantly, the strength training workouts, that means you're building muscle, that's increasing your metabolism, that means you're gonna feel hungrier. So just keep that in mind. But in your check-in, if you don't hit your macros because you were 80% satisfied, just tell me that. Otherwise, I'll probably be reminding you to eat more. Also, there are going to be days that our macros are just wonky, no matter how much you pre-plan. Again, life is crazy, and you might have days where your fat is really high and your carbs are a little bit low. We're not going to be perfect with that either. So again, extend yourself some grace on that, but also refer back to your calories. I don't want to spend a lot of time focusing on the calories, but again, we want to be in a calorie deficit, right? If we're trying to lose weight or lose fat. So we want to stay around our calorie requirements. So at the top of your food diary page, it will show you the number of calories that we have you preset to. It will show you what you've already eaten to that point, and it will show you what you have left over. If your macros are wonky, don't stress about it, but then make it a goal to stay as close to your calories as possible. Let's see, some additional tips and tricks. When it comes to tracking macros, you will again get more comfortable as the program continues on. But now that you've created a history in MyFitnessPal, every time you go to log in something that you've already eaten, it will recognize it and pull it up quickly. So most clients find that it takes them about 1 minute per meal to input their food. So if you're eating 3 meals a day, it should only be taking you about 3 to 5 minutes at the most as you get more comfortable. That's the goal. But I also wanted to say, for the 6 weeks that you're in this group, I definitely want you tracking every day because it really takes some time to make this a habit. But my clients that are in my VIP group, which is my ongoing group after the 6 weeks, for those that have really made this a lifestyle, the goal is that you don't have to track macros every single day for the rest of your life. At some point, eating healthy food and getting the right portions down is going to feel more intuitive, but that comes a lot later down the road. So for now, I do want you tracking every single day, but as you get more comfortable with it, it shouldn't take you very long. If it's taking you longer than that, please let me know. Maybe there's some things that I can help you with. One thing that will save you a ton of time, if you're like me and like most of my clients, there's probably basic meals that you like to eat over and over and over, and that's awesome. I do that. But you can cut and paste your meal from a previous day to today's date. So for example, I eat oatmeal with blueberries almost every single day. I can go to yesterday's input of my oatmeal. There's 3 little dots next to the entry, and I can click on that and copy that meal from yesterday and plug it into today. So make sure that you check out that shortcut. That will save you a lot of time. Also, in my initial setting up MyFitnessPal, I told you about the scan barcode feature. If you're not utilizing this, I highly recommend going through your house, using your phone and scanning the barcode in all of your healthy food items that come in a package. This will save you so much time when you scan it, because it will literally drop in this nutrition label. That means you don't have to search for it. So make sure that you're using the scan barcode. Also, I want you to start learning the macro values of your food. I'm not necessarily saying you need to memorize them, but kind of get familiar with what value is in your food. For example, here's a very healthy sweet potato. Sweet potatoes are very high in carbs. This sweet potato, I would have to weigh it, but it probably has 40 to 50 grams of carbs. So healthy item, but this would be a challenge to work into a low carb day, because we don't get very many carbs on Mondays and Tuesdays. Guys, for you could probably work in a small sweet potato. For women, this is going to be really hard. It would basically eat up all of your carbs for the whole day. So I want you to start to familiarize yourself with the value of the food that you're eating. So for example, a sweet potato would be an item that would be better saved for a regular macro day: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You probably wouldn't want to eat that on a low carb day on a Monday, Tuesday. Now, on the other hand, blueberries, these are also a carb. All fruits are carbohydrates, but berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, they're very low in carbs and can easily be worked into a low carb day and a regular macro day. So basically what I'm saying is, when you drop in your input for blueberries, just take a quick glance at it. You will start to recognize that blueberries are basically a carb. There's no fat and there's no protein in them. So that's what I'm talking about with recognizing the value of your food. The other thing that will help you tremendously and make your experience so much smoother and enjoyable with tracking is if you get in the habit of pre-logging your food. Maybe it's the night before, or maybe it's in the morning. If you know what you're going to be eating for the day, or 1 or 2 of your meals for the day, go ahead and input that, because it will just make your day go that much smoother. Then you can see the whole outlook of your day and see what's left over for you to hit your macros. If you wait until the end of the day to input anything, I guarantee you it's going to be frustrating. You won't remember what you ate. You definitely won't remember the portion sizes of what you ate. And more than likely, you're not going to hit your macros and you're going to feel really frustrated. So again, it only takes a couple of minutes to pre-program MyFitnessPal. If you need to go in and tweak things later, that's fine, but get the majority of it put in there. It will make this process so much easier. The other thing, we talked a lot this week about protein, carbs, and fat. What are they? Why do we need them? And I gave you hundreds of examples of what all of those foods are. But you've heard me say protein is number one. Protein is king. Protein macros do not change 7 days a week. We will tweak our carbs and our fat depending upon a low carb day or a regular macro day, but protein does not change. So if you're struggling to get your protein in, I really want you to make that your focus and plan your meals around your protein. Build from the protein first. So for example, if you are eating chicken, maybe you're having grilled chicken on a salad for lunch, and then for dinner you're having a taco salad with ground turkey. And you're frustrated that you're not hitting your macros for protein that day. So the very first thing I would recommend is not eating more sources of protein, but simply increasing the portion size of what you're already eating. If you're eating 3 ounces of chicken on your salad, go ahead and increase that to 5 or 6 ounces. Or keep your chicken 3 ounces, but maybe add 2 hard-boiled eggs to go with it. If you're eating a taco salad with 3 ounces of beef or turkey, go ahead and increase the portion of your meat. Or if you want to add a protein source that comes from a plant-based, you could add beans like kidney beans or black beans or refried beans. So this also gets back to the thing that we're going to focus on this week, building macro-dense meals. But again, I want to emphasize 7 days a week, you need to start making protein your number one focus. So on a low carb day on Monday, Tuesday, protein will be your focus. The next focus will be your healthy fats. And then carbohydrates are kind of just sprinkled into your day. It's a small amount. The opposite of that will happen on regular macro days. Of course, protein will remain your focus, but then carbs will be number 2, and fat will just kind of be sprinkled in. So I wanted to kind of lay that out for you as well. The other thing is, a great way to help you hit your macros is to take your total macros for the day and divide out by the amount of meals that you plan to eat. So for example, if you need to hit 100 grams of protein, you're eating 3 meals, you know that you need to hit about 33 grams of protein per meal. The same thing goes for carbs. If you have 150 grams of carbs, 3 meals, you need to be aiming for 50 grams of carbs per meal. So write all of that down and take some time today, maybe in your pre-planning for the week, to build meals based upon those increments. It will really help you understand how your meals need to look and what the balance should look like. And then once you find those meals that fit your macros really well, that you love, keep them on repeat. Make the same thing over and over, maybe tweak it up a little bit. It will help you establish this into a system. Also, those macro cheat sheets, make sure that you have printed those out. Keep that by you whenever you're making your grocery list, planning your meals for the week. Have those nearby so that you're reminded of the healthy foods and the macros that they all have. Because again, the earlier you create a system with your meals, the easier it's going to be. The last thing I want to say is I love the motto KISS, K-I-S-S, keep it super simple. It does not have to be fancy or gourmet meals. For dinner, you might just grab a rotisserie chicken and bake a sweet potato and have some steamed broccoli with it. It doesn't have to be something fancy that you've spent hours in the kitchen cooking. I love to make things once and eat on them a couple of times. So if I'm making chicken fajitas for dinner one night, I make sure that I make an extra pan of them so I have enough for leftovers, or sometimes my lunch is leftover from dinner. If you're going to grill up some chicken, make some extra chicken that you can use throughout the week. But just keep things super simple and don't complicate it. You're learning a lot of new healthy habits. Healthy whole foods are basic food items. I mean, a sweet potato is a whole food item. All you have to do is scrub this, poke it, and throw it in the oven and bake it, or you can chop it up and roast it. But eating healthy whole foods does not have to be complicated or time consuming. The last thing I just want to say is I love tracking macros because what I find is it makes me control my food. It puts me in the driver's seat. So I kind of want you to see the big picture with what we're doing here. I'm given 1,900 calories every day that I get to eat in 8 hours, and that's 135 grams of protein, that's 185 grams of carbs, and about 65 grams of fat. That is a lot of food, and I know that I get to move and slide those macros around to fit my day and for whatever I'm doing for that day. So I love that I'm in control of my food. I don't feel deprived. There's really nothing that I can't eat. Yes, there are things that are healthier than others, but if we subscribe to the idea that 80 to 90% of what we're eating is truly a whole food, we can work in our favorite treats. We can work in the alcohol once we learn how to track all of that. I really want the Faster Way to provide you with food freedom and give you control over the food, so that you're not controlled by the food. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm looking forward to diving into week 3 with you this week. If you have any questions or need help with anything, please make sure that you reach out. Have a great day.